So the announcement date for the War Within has been released, and there is some stuff you can do before the actual expansion comes out, but I saw this video talking about reminders of what to do before the War Within launches, and I thought it'd be fun to react to it. So let's go ahead and start and see what this guy has to say.
Dragonflight.
Oh, this is SoulSoBreezy, by the way. He's made a lot of content talking about, like, you know, what's coming up for the next week. He's got some pretty good stuff, so you guys could go check him out.
War Within reminders for this week. Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW updates, and catching me live in the mornings on Twitch for some coffee with Soul. That's
he made some pretty good content, so check him out.
Expansion will go live worldwide August 26th, maybe the 22nd if you're interested in the early access.
Which makes sense because I think that's around the time that MoP Remix ends, right? I mean, actual date, I mean, you can figure. I haven't looked at the actual date, but yeah, we've got like 60, as of filming this video, we have like 67 days left. So it's about spot on with the timing, right? Okay.
This period. But let's also work backwards to get a glimpse of what's to come. The MoP Remix will only have ended the week before on the 19th.
There we go.
Somehow I doubt the pre-patch will come as late as the 20th, because that's only going to give us like a week for the pre-patch event, including getting some gear upgrades for our Remix character.
And you should be done with Remix by then. I mean, if you haven't, that's on you. So start now if you want to get all the stuff from Remix, getting your characters leveled up and all that stuff. But yeah, you should have plenty of time.
So I'm going to hold out hope that the pre-expansion patch will launch sometime between like late July and early August. This kind of lines up with the fact that the PTR for this patch is selectable on the WoW launcher now. It sort of tells me that it'll open up maybe this week, but there's no guarantees, of course. If it does though, let's say this PTR is 7 weeks long, which is how long the Dragonflight PTR went, that would mean the pre-patch itself will drop the week of July 30th. However, that would mean a 12-week gap between patch 10.2.7 and this upcoming pre-patch. I guess that makes between the 16th and the 30th of July the kind of safe range of...
Sorry, you guys can't see that, but let me just go ahead and hide this really quick, and then you guys will be able to see what's going on here. See, that's what he's talking about these dates. Let me go ahead and just kind of run with this for a second.
Of when the patch might release. Of course, we're still going to have a few weeks of the pre-patch to farm, and then 1 week later, the remix will end with the expansion a few days or maybe up to a week after that.
So, yeah, these are guesses, you know, but good guesses, though. Soul has a lot of really good, you know, insight on this stuff.
So a schedule like this sounds pretty good, give or take exactly how long the testing period is. The reason why I'm taking such a close look at this is because of my plan to farm up old content about 30 days ahead of the pre-patch, where I'm going to amass tons and tons of transmog in the mailbox to unlock the first day of the pre-patch. This will mean the timing will be very, very important, because if I'm off, it'll mean that I'd have to pick up mail that is about to expire to ensure that I don't lose any. I should also let you know that this plan of mine is only like 99% confirmed to even work. Characters transferred to the PTR or the beta, they don't keep anything in their mail, making it impossible to test and verify that this method of unlocking transmog is going to work. Still though, this is exciting, and
I mean that makes sense. Like, I like doing stuff that's, you know, I call it the achievement hunting season, where you're in between expansions and you're going off and just doing like transmogs and, you know, achievements and stuff like that. Like I did Insane in the Membrane. It took me a few months because I was like, I'm not going to play season 3, and I started play season 4 and it was fun. I would like to go back to season 4, but with all the stuff that's going on with Remix, I'm just kind of getting everything done with that. But yeah, I can see that, you know, get a whole bunch of stuff done before the expansion happens, because once the expansion drops, you're not really going to have enough time or a lot of time to do any old content, because you'll be doing all the new stuff.
We have to go over what to consider doing before the pre-patch and expansion launch, and if there are more tips that you'd consider, definitely share them in the comments. Couple things to complete are the usual accomplishments that go away at the end of a season. We're talking about Gladiator and the Keystone Master and Hero achievements. We're talking Portals and the Awakened Raid achievements, which means defeating every raid boss, not just the raid, but the raid boss on normal and higher difficulty. This way you'll get a mount, a
title, could be fun,
and raid teleports depending on the difficulty. The Awakened rotation isn't going to end until the pre-patch, which some may find disappointing, but in a twist, one can still earn the Ahead of the Curve mount appearance from defeating Farok on heroic difficulty. Your best bet is to wait until Emirjasil is not awakened, for example, like this week, and get in a quick kill.
I wouldn't mind doing that. I just need to get everything done with MoP Remix first, which means I need to farm out all my bronze, get all the cosmetics. once I have all the cosmetics done, probably going to be done. I mean, because I have all the achievements done except for 3 of the rep grinds, and one of them is really a grind. I mean, you have to go to Timeless Isle and just kill elites until you get there. Could do that. It would feel satisfying to me to have all of the achievements done for an event that's limited, but I would like to get it done sooner rather than later, so I could maybe come back and do all of this stuff. That would actually be a lot of fun. I'm sure my buddy Jay would be down to do that too.
Communities like Perky Pugs make it their mission to help people out by providing these sorts of carries, so I'll provide a link to their Discord channel in the video.
Oh, that's
description.
nice.
Completing your milestones for the remix may also be important depending on your goals. It's a source for both lots of transmog and raising an army of alts, and this comes to an end August 19th. I would advise.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Big transmog farm, you know, getting your alts. If you're an altaholic, obviously MoP Remix is your place to go because you can just make so many alts and get ready to have all those characters. And it might be beneficial to you. I have alts, but I'm really mostly a paladin and rogue player. But this could be great for altaholics for sure. It's MoP Remix is fun, but I do want to get everything done. I think for me, and a lot of people are like, why? It's a waste of time. What's a waste of time for you? But for me, it's great. I love the idea that I can get all this stuff done. I feel completed, once I get all the stuff I could buy from it.
Advise that if you're in a good mood and you happen to be very, very powerful, hey, lend a helping hand to our fellow collectors and levelers and host a round of raids to help them get started. It really doesn't take long to get through the first few raids, and you'll be making people's day while hopefully getting weapon mogs for yourself because the drop rate is super unforgiving. Thanks, Blizzard. One class you may want to pay attention to are Evokers. After the pre-patch, Evokers are going to start at a much lower level, and thus will take longer to level than they do now in Dragonflight. So
that's pretty cool because I made an Evoker for MoP Remix because I never played one. So cool, I have one max. I like that.
Just saying, if you don't have one already, have one level to 70 to save a bit of time. And then maybe you want to consider doing a little or a lot of house cleaning and farming for your characters.
Yep.
And here's what I mean. The War Within pre-patch will give us Warbands, and with that, a Warband bank, or a war bank is what they should be really called. Anyway, it's a shared bank with 90 slots per tab. You get 5 tabs at max, meaning that while you can use it as just another bank to toss your extra garbage, I say that it would be best used for items that are in fact shared across your account and used on a regular basis. So I'm talking about trade goods that characters of different professions are going to use. I'm talking about bind.
I can't wait for Warband banks. Like Warband, it sounds so cool. Like the fact that you don't have to mail anything to your alt anymore and then log off and log onto that character and go to the mailbox. Like you can just do it so quick. Like efficient things is so nice to have in games. And the fact that they're doing this now, I think Ian Hasekosa said this. He said, we're finally breaking down the barriers that were instigated from the beginning, And I think he also mentioned like something like he felt like there was this, when becoming game director, like there was this legacy that you had to hold on to, but in fact we just want it to be easier to manage, to access, and we're finally getting that. So I think this is going to be really, really fun.
On equipment gear and later Warbound gear that you're holding onto for alts. Shared currencies like pet tokens, that applies here too. So what you can start doing is taking stock of your character's inventories and start sorting stuff out. Should a bunch of these Dragonflight mats go into the bank, or can they all be consolidated?
You know what I need to do? I need to make myself smaller because the information is much more important than my camera. So let's actually make this a little bit smaller here. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. That'll work. All right, keep going.
On a single character for now, because maybe you won't be touching them until they're needed. You might be surprised over how little of the war bank you actually use, at least until you start cramming it with the War Within materials that you won't know what to do with at first. And then there's farming, which is closely related to transmog unlocks that I mentioned earlier. Shadowlands appearances bought from renowned quartermasters can be bought and unlocked by any single character after the patch. If you've got the spare time and desire for appearances, it's been the time to farm up anima and grateful offerings so you can unlock even more stuff later. Now,
yeah, and I know like transmogs is a really, really big deal for a lot of people. I mean, my buddy Mort, he's like super into the fantasy of his character, the way it looks. It really brings his immersion into the game, and that's super important for a lot of people. It's important for me to an extent, but also a lot of these farms and everything. The other editor for Bajira, who I work with, Lancis, he's got a really good idea. He makes characters and goes and does ICC and then farms out Shadowmourne. I think he's on like his 5th one, because not only do you get Shadowmourne, but you get other things like a mount And I think Jaina's necklace, it's like a certain, I'm not sure what it does, but you can put him up on the auction house and he sells those for over 100,000 gold, like 150,000 or something like that. But he's making profit from those, and a big chunk of profit at that, and people buy them. So if you don't think people are going to buy the stuff that you're putting up there, like that are rare, there's someone out there who wants it. Might as well go ahead and farm for it.
I would consider this to be a low priority farm because that's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, the Mr. Pandaria remix is. What I don't want you to stress over too much is having to gear up and trying to have your characters feel, quote, prepared for the new continent.
I agree to him if you just don't care about, if he's talking about, was he talking about MoP Remix? Hold on a second. Let me just go back and just make sure he's talking about that.
Hold this to be a low priority farm because that's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, the Mr. Pandaria remix is. What I don't want you to stress over too much is having to gear up and trying to have your characters feel, quote, prepared for the new continent. Outdoor questing is only tuned to be as difficult as if you just finished Chromie time from a previous expansion, so item level requirements are like in the 350s or so. Meanwhile, the characters from the remix are expected to have...
Okay, so he's actually talking about the expansion, like you don't have to gear up to get... Yeah, I don't think you've ever really needed to gear up for an expansion because all the gear, for the most part, you're gonna replace your gear sometime like in the future, right after that, like after a couple of quests and stuff like that. Unless you're like super mythic tiered out, then you've got maybe like 5 levels worth of keeping your gear on around there. Could be wrong. Yeah, you don't need to gear up for the next expansion because you're just gonna get new gear anyways.
An item level in the 420s, catch-up gear from the pre-patch event will be in the 480s, so you want to prep for the right reasons, as in go for permanent gains from like transmog and leveling and logistics with organizing your inventories. Investing your time in that direction, it'll pay off much better in the long run.
I think that's good information for a brand new player because I feel like we're kind of getting this new, it's like a new introductory to World of Warcraft since we have the World Soul Saga coming up, the 3 expansions, and they're really changing the UI and they're making it more, new player base friendly and stuff like that. So I think that's good information for a new player. For a returning player, it's kind of obvious. Like, yeah, why would we gear up for an expansion when we know that we're going to get new gear anyways? So, okay, I get that. That's more new player information or someone who just doesn't play a lot and they just don't understand the game. I don't know. Yeah, for a returning player, I think that's pretty obvious.
And let's take a look at what's happening this week. It's the Battleground bonus event with the Brawl being one of my favorites, Shadowpan Showdown. I mentioned earlier that the Awaken rotation will resume as normal, so this week we return to Avarice. Pick up the weekly and open the Suffusion chest in the Farrak Assault area, which should be in the Azure Span this week, be a part of the Research Under Fire event, and do a time rift for big gains. It's not a full Spark week, but it's a full Bullion week, meaning people who've been buying gear will have the 2 Bullion needed for another piece. Meanwhile, folks like me who have all the Bullion gear that we want, I guess now we can buy Mythic appearances with them, giving me a little something to do still. And over in Mythic Plus World, the affixes are Fortified and Incorporeal, with Sanguine for 10s and higher.
This is what I would be interested in doing after I'm done with MoP Remix, is going back and start pushing Mythic Pluses. Especially with my buddy Jay, because he's kind of down for that, but he said he needs to find out like how to get back into the groove of everything and how to get the gear and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, it's really easy, but I would be interested in doing this.
Well, I am trying to psych myself back in for the sake of getting Keystone Master because I've been slacking off, but Incorporeal,
I've never had Keystone Master and I do want it. Like, I want to see if it's actually doable, and then if it's really fun, have that as my push to do like every single season it gets Keystone Master. That'd be a lot of fun.
It's not the worst. It just sucks that my Turn Evil and Repentant, which would work really well here, they have a cast time, meaning that as a tank, I'm getting decked in the face while helping with crowd control. I should also point out that this week, the Aspect Crest cap, it hits a milestone to where you can upgrade every piece of gear to max myth level and still not run out of aspects. The cap it's virtually gone, so...
Okay, cool. So it's easier to max out your gear instead of having to be like gated for it or something like that. I guess this time in MoP Remix has been nice because I've been able to do something different while letting retail kind of catch up to that. Okay, hey, it's a free-for-all, go for it. And I actually prefer that. Like when they say there's no cap to conquest and you can just catch up on things. It's almost like letting a whole entire season of a show come out completely and then you can just binge watch the entire season. So I kind of like that. I'll have to check that out.
So if you have any spare crests from lower difficulties that you can trade up, you'll have to do so. The beta is on a much more...
Wait, how do you trade out Lower crests. Oh, wait, there's a vendor to do that. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Stable condition than it was in its first few days, and hey, that's great. It's giving players almost free run of outdoor content.
That is so cool seeing the dual mount, the rocket in Dragonflight form. That is so cool.
And leveling. I'm starting to take down some notes on professions so I can start whipping together some guides and feedback for the team, so stay tuned for coverage on that as well. There's also a non-zero chance that the pre-patch may start up this week. It might be a bit ahead of the beta, seeing as how the pre-patch events will hit us first, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of how it works. You can join me here on the channel or live on stream. I'm on in the mornings, and it's always fun to answer questions or, have a chat. So thanks for coming. Like this video, subscribe for more stuff, and let's have Bob close us out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.
Cool.
Wasted by life, it's obsession.
Oh gosh, that's bad. Okay. Great job, Soul. Yeah. So I like Soul's content. I've talked to him a little bit on stream. He's a cool guy. He's really gone pretty far with this content. I remember when he was like 40 something thousand subscribers, and now he's at like 75.6k subscribers. But he's got a lot of good points there. It seems like mostly everything you're having to do right now, if you want to do everything, is just transmog runs, maybe farm. So I would say one thing he didn't talk about that I would say is really good to do is farm some gold. You can never have enough gold. Like there's a lot of people out there, if you want to push PvP and you'd like to, maybe have play with someone who's like a higher level that they sell their swords. So like mercenary, like Bajiri, he's kind of a mercenary kind of guy. You can pay him in gold and then you guys can run into arenas together and stuff like that. So I'd say gold farming is definitely something I would add to the list of to-dos before the War Within. If you're not doing MoP Remix, pushing stuff on season 4, then transmog and gold farms really should be your thing. So I thought it was a really good video, kind of catching us up on what to do. The beta's out, so if you pre-purchase the game, the beta's out. I got the collector's edition, so that's coming in the mail. I have to wait for that until I can actually jump in the beta. I've thought about actually just buying a digital copy and then I get refunded into my account, so I could do that too. But let me know what you guys think. What are you guys working on as far as doing stuff before the War Within comes out? What are your goals? Are you guys pushing season 4? Are you trying to get all the transmogs in MoP Remix? Or are you just going to be farming out, transmogs and getting some gold? But let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to talk a little bit more, jump on the Discord where we can talk about World of Warcraft and everything else. I also stream on Twitch every morning, Monday through Friday, and we do workout streams in my gym here at home. I love fitness. I love being in shape while also doing a lot of gaming stuff. And if you guys like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and like this video so that other people can catch it. Having said that, I'll see you guys next time in Azeroth. Have a great day. Take care.